Hello, I am Ajit Jha, CEO of Power Pixar channel. And today in the public domain, we are going to discuss the impact of uh, Donald Trump, Mr. President Donald Trump of the United States of America. What does it mean for the whole world? What does it mean for American politics? And what does it mean for us Indians, uh, the presidency of Donald Trump? Now, do remember that Donald Trump was the 45th president of America for 4 years. He was defeated by Biden after that, and then he recontested, and he's become president again for another 4 years. Now, after the end of 4 years, the Donald Trump era will hopefully be over. But in these 4 years, what does Donald Trump plan to do? What we want to get into the mind of Donald Trump to understand who are the heroes of Donald Trump. What is his broad vision? How is he planning to change politics? And my argument would be that with the coming of Donald Trump, what we see is in the language of electoral politics and the language of political science, we call it a massive right realignment. It is not only that America has shifted right. America had shifted right in the past many a time when we have had Republican presidents. Recently, we've had, George Bush Jr., 2 terms of George Bush Jr. In fact, before that, we had George Bush Sr., his father, who was a president. Before that, we had Ronald Reagan, who had won in a massive way and had swung American politics majorly in a rightward direction. But what is the difference between other Republican presidents coming to power and Donald Trump? That is what we will begin with. And the point is that the historic realignment that has taken place in American politics with the coming of Donald Trump 2.0 is really long term, number one. And number two, it's a decisive shift in American politics. Why do I call it decisive? The reason is the Donald Trump's victory this time is a massive victory. He's won the popular vote, number one. He's won all the 7 swing states of American politics. He has won the popular vote as well as he has won, the swing states. Therefore, in both in a sort of simple manner, he has won over with a massive majority. He has beaten the Democrats. Now, have we seen this kind of realignment in the past? Yes, we have. We did see it when President Bill Clinton had won for the first time. President Bill Clinton had won with a massive majority also. Yeah, and in many ways, their vote bank is very similar, which is kind of ironic because Bill Clinton was a left liberal sort of president of the Democratic Party. Now, so what has happened? What is this historic realignment I'm talking about? It is the white working class vote which has shifted, which was with Bill Clinton when he became the president in the early 1990s. And from there, the white working class vote has shifted from Bill Clinton, from the Democratic base to the Republican side, and they constitute the MAGA voters, the "Make America Great Again" slogan that Trump had given when he was president for the first time. That is the vote bank which has shifted 180 degrees from a left liberal position to a complete wacko right wing, extreme right wing form. In fact, it has even taken partly racist tones. So this shift constitutes a historic realignment. Now, the big question is, you would ask me, why has it taken place? Why has the working class, especially the white, but in this case also the Hispanic and partly the black working class, why did they all shift towards the Republican Party? That is an important question. And the reason, according to me, is because America has been undergoing what we call deindustrialization. That means industrial units, especially manufacturing centers in America, in a major way, shifted in the last, let's say, it has been going on, I think, almost from, in the last, I would say, 20 years. Some people even trace it longer, but certainly in the last, since they say the year 2000, so last 24, 25 years, quarter century, lots and lots of manufacturing jobs shifted from America to Mexico and from America to China. Why? Because it is cheaper to produce something that people use every day in Mexico or in China than in America. So the corporates in America, they shifted their industries to China, to Mexico, to several other countries, a few of it to even India, but largely China, Mexico. That's why you find Trump's rhetoric, because he was trying to attract the white working class vote. Therefore, his rhetoric that when he sort of talks about his tariff policy, he's hitting on China. 60% tariffs he plans to raise against China, which is the biggest competitor. Remember, America is a $29 trillion economy, 28, $29 trillion economy. China is the number two, almost 18 to 19 trillion dollar economy. We in India, we are a smaller player. We are an emerging player. We are growing fast, but we are basically only $3.7 trillion economy. So we are not a big threat to America. China is the big threat to America. Because of this shift, as I said, of the manufacturing jobs to China and to Mexico. And look at Trump. He attacks China when it comes to tariff, when it comes to trade, and he attacks Mexico when it comes to immigration. And these are, these two sort of major policies of his, trade tariff and immigration is what constitutes Trump's main anger, or he's working that anger and attracting the working class votes. So this is one part of the story. The other part of the story is that the Supreme Court was packed with his own supporters when Trump, conservative judges, when Trump was the president for the first time. So right now, Trump is in a pole position. Why? Because he controls the presidency with a massive sweep, as I said, rightwards, historic realignment, as I talked about. Number two, the Republicans are in majority in both Senate and the House of Representatives. They control both the Senate and the Congress. And number three, the Supreme Court, which is, when we talk about the government, we talk about three major pillars: the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. The executive is the presidency, with Trump moving to a very powerful position, almost I would say what one would consider a crown position, like a monarch. He's almost become dictatorial. The whole Republican Party is afraid of him. Even those who oppose him are quietly siding with him. In fact, they have started talking the language of Trump. In the Congress, the Republicans, especially the Trump Republicans, are sort of aggressively sort of pushing in a Trump direction. The Republicans control the Congress. And number three, even the judiciary, as I said, the third pillar, he has already packed. So this is one point when the American president is the most powerful in recent history. Now, who is his hero? Who is Trump's hero? How does he? Can we understand in which direction he'll go? You know, if you listen to his speech when he became when he was swearing in the president, he mentioned a former American president. His name was William McKinley. William McKinley was from Ohio State, and he was the American president only one term between 1897 and 1901. And he was actually assassinated in 1901. Some people say if he was not, he could have become a president a second time. Why do they say that? Because at that time also, American politics moved rightward in a historic shift, a realignment again. And William McKinley was a major expansionist, exactly like Trump. In fact, during his time, he ended up even controlling countries like Philippines, countries, smaller sort of countries in Latin America and nearby, around the US. They became almost like 51st state of America. He was a major expansionist, and he believed in massive tariffs. He used to use tariffs against his rivals. Trump fashions himself like William McKinley. He believes that through tariffs, you can actually create jobs inside the country. Why? Because once you raise, let's say, massive walls of 60% against Chinese goods, then the Chinese goods would become very expensive when they enter the United States. So the domestic manufacturers, entrepreneurs in America will start creating lots of these things which they stopped, which they had exported, which they had moved wholesale to Mexico and China and other countries. So then the domestic items that will be manufactured will be cheaper, and people will start end up buying American goods. And that's why he keeps talking about, make America great again, buy American, be American, all those kind of slogans. Now, this is something which even in India, for example, you see Mr. Modi talking about make in India, or in fact, in India, our tariff policies are very high, one of the highest. In fact, this is going to partly hurt us. Why? Because, or at least hurt our manufacturing and other software companies. Why? Because Trump is going to argue, at least he's saying across the board 10% tariffs against them. And B, he's going to persuade and negotiate with India and tell the Indian companies to basically, or the Indian government to bring down the tariff rates. In fact, Trump has been talking about it a lot, that the Indian tariff rates are very high. So what will happen is the Indian exporters, those who export to America, right now they are very happy. Why? Because the dollar has become very strong, the rupee has become very weak. So they end up gaining in the trade. But soon, once the Trump tariffs kick in and the negotiations begin, they will have a tough time selling their goods in America. So yes, it is going to hurt Indian manufacturers, entrepreneurs, although Trump in his rhetoric has not been as strongly anti-Indian as he is against China and Mexico and some of the other countries. But this is going to affect Indians in the future. Now, the other issue is, of course, because we're running out of time, is this immigration, his tough policy. He has raised at the border, he's declared an emergency at the Mexican border, and he's planning to deport millions of Mexicans and Latin Americans from Guatemala and other countries. And in fact, the latest report says that Mexico, Guatemala, and other Latin American, South American countries are preparing to welcome the deportees. And these deportees are, by the way, very large in number. I mean, their assessment can go on for months and years. But they are planning to take back their illegal immigrants. These are all unaccounted for. They mostly went through the illegal route in the past. And Trump always attacks Biden and the previous Democratic governments, even under Obama and others, to be very soft. His argument is that they were allowing it. The truth is quite the reverse. The truth is that Trump actually opposed a bipartisan bill which was in the past initiated by a Republican Party, and it had support of both the Democrats and the Republicans on a policy which was going to restrict immigration. But as I said, Trump is not an ordinary Republican. As I said, Trump is what one would call a loony American, a loony right winger. He's absolutely a wacko right winger. He is unpredictable. Even Americans don't understand him. Even his cabinet members in the past have not understood him. He fires people very easily. And we will see that going to start soon. In fact, Vivek Ramaswamy, who had joined the cabinet, has already pulled out of it. And we can keep speculating why he has done it, but this has already begun. And let's point out that basically what has happened with Trump, American corporates, especially the techie corporates, have become extremely powerful. So one can say it's corporatization of America. It's a corporatization of democracy. It's not only corporatization of America, it's corporatization of American democracy. And it's a right, as I said, right realignment, a historic realignment. And it is in a way as if a monarch or a crown has come to power in America with all powers, and people are afraid of the kind of changes he's going to bring about. But thankfully, American institutions, American states, not the Supreme Court, because that is packed with Trump supporters, but the other courts, the local courts in America are still quite powerful. They might be in a fix right now, but many of them are going to fight back. And a bit of the fight back has already begun. The Democratic Party is going to fight back, although right now it is very, very weak. But this Trump era for the next 4 years is going to be a historic shift. Will it help the forces of progress? Perhaps not. Will it help the forces of right wing? We still don't know, because with this Trump's new policies, we will see a rebound from countries like China, where the Chinese president Xi Jinping has also become very popular because he's going to oppose and negotiate with Trump. And Trump, remember, is basically a negotiator. He's a deal maker, and he hums and haws, and he talks a lot. He's a typical what one would call an American faku. He talks a lot, but the moment he'll get a deal, he'll be the first one to make the deal. I mean, look at his anti-Chinese rhetoric. And possibly China is going to be the first country where Trump might go and start negotiating. So we will end here. We'll have many more programs on Trump as things open out. But at this moment, his focus seems to be on immigration, the illegal the deportation of illegal immigrants, because that he thinks is going to be very popular. Now, he is not going to contest the next American presidency, but one of his followers is, and he wants to make America the new sort of the Trump era. Remember what he said, that when the bullet missed his ear, he said, God has given me a new life to make America great again. So we will end here. Thank you very much. Do subscribe to the channel, and we'll make many more such videos in the future. Thank you very much.